I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world. And yet, I ask you, is not an alien force already among us?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the show. Got a good one in store for you. Joining me today from a wildly good show, a show I've always enjoyed, is Ryan from Appalachian Intelligence. Ryan, I appreciate you coming on, man. Tell everyone a little bit about yourself.
Hey, everybody. I'm Ryan, like he said, from the show Appalachian Intelligence. Show started, I can't remember what year. Was it 21 or 22? Something like that.
I started listening to you guys in 2022. I know that.
Okay, so yeah, it started back then. It's been on a bit of a hiatus. I think there's 118 episodes. People are going to hear, I didn't say a lot during that time. When I did, it was like pretty profound things because I was on edibles a lot then. And I quit the edibles. I still dabble, I have a pre-roll here or there, but no more edibles. Those things they'll destroy you. But
yeah, that'll put you in a quiet mood, huh?
Oh my gosh, it puts you in this space. You're sitting there, and then these people are talking about all these crazy things, and then you're like, "Oh my God, it's all going to come for me here in a minute." But at that point in time, I didn't believe in half of this stuff. Like, Sam Tripoli always says, "Conspiracy leads to Christianity or spirituality."
It does. I'm living proof of that.
Same here, man.
I mean, that's great, man, because I was going to ask you about this because, I noticed this towards the tail end of that 108 episodes you mentioned. I was like, okay, this guy's starting to develop a walk with God. It was very clear.
Yeah, and it was actually, Justin actually said it to us both. He said he never said it out loud, but he thought the moment that I had said, "All right, boys, I'm going to seek a relationship with Jesus Christ," he was like, "All right, I can be done with this podcast now." Like, that was his mission.
Wow.
Maybe, and we don't know what God has planned. Maybe this is a season that he's got to go pastor this church. Maybe that was a season that he was there to pastor to me, he and Lance, for me to move forward and do what I'm supposed to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That was just kind of revelation that just hit me as you were saying that, and I thought, my God, maybe that's what God was doing.
Yeah. I mean, I love when those revelations hit live on the show, man. It happens to me. It happened to me the other night. It was something. I was in the middle of talking to this guy about something, and I had this memory because we were talking about giants, right? And I had this memory of my cousin, something my cousin told me years ago, because across the street from their house, there was a mound in this person's front yard, and they had drawn a giant's face on the mound as and I got a picture of it still to this day. And I asked my cousin about it, and I remember her telling me like, "Oh yeah, there's legends that the giants were here a long time ago, right?" Years go by, I totally forgot that conversation happened until like 2 days ago on a podcast. It was awesome. I'm like, that I needed that moment to hit me when it hit me because of like some research I'm doing, right? So I love when that happens, man. But yeah, back to your story. I just want to throw that in.
It's crazy how you connect things like that too. Something that could be so insignificant at the time, and years later, you're like, boom, wait a minute. I've been hearing about these things since then, and didn't pay no attention to it at that time, but
yeah, it just didn't click.
Yeah. Speaking, dude, there had to be giants in this area.
Oh yeah, man.
I mean, there's too many, word of mouth stories passed down over the years of all these different things and all these different entities. Are you still there?
I'm here. Mm-hmm.
Something I don't know.
Well, I can hear you. We're good.
Okay. There I am. I don't know what just happened. My screen just went to the home screen.
Oh, maybe we had a glitch there. We start talking about the giants, man.
Yeah, start talking about things.
Those Nephilim spirits, bro. They don't like us talking about their ancestors.
Yeah, the seed war is ongoing as we speak. So,
Yeah, man, we're just diving right into this one.
yeah, well, I mean, that's the truth. I mean, this has been a crazy year. This has
I
been
was, yeah, what a time to be alive, right?
what a time to. Okay, so one of my all-time favorites for my whole life, Hulk Hogan, he's gone. You know,
Mm.
now with the Charlie Kirk thing, God rest his soul. This has been a crazy, crazy year. You drones over New Jersey.
Oh, what about drones over Denmark?
I,
Are
oh
they
yeah, I
being
said,
are they being invaded by UFOs right now or what?
man, s- I don't know. I'm under the assumption that everything's fake and gay. So
Yeah.
that's just my
Well, that's I'm very very like not interested in that story, but I'm just realizing that it's all over the news. It's pasted all over everything. It's like, and I just saw this article that Vice released that I'm not sure they would have released before, right? If it's
yeah.
not a total psyop, but it's like they were talking about these mummies in Africa that were found that had like non-human DNA, or I think the way they worded it was they don't share DNA with modern humans. Very, very sort of a
Hmm.
spooky psychedelic thing there. Just like,
Yeah.
I mean, in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, well, there's probably something to do with the Nephilim. They're not going to say that. But why
Yeah.
are they putting this article out, right? It's like, is there some sort of preparation being made for some sort of okay, for instance, Obama, he's about to release his UFO documentary.
Yeah.
So it's like, what are they planning? Because
Yeah.
a guy like that doesn't simply just make a UFO documentary.
No.
There's
No.
there's something behind it.
Yeah. And let's break this thing down in Denmark, right? Let's look
Yeah.
at it. Let's look at it from a realistic point of view. So we had drones over New Jersey, and then all of a sudden we don't know what they are. Then we do know what they are. They came from Iran. Now we
Mm,
got to bomb Iran because they're this close to MWDs again,
hmm.
nuclear capabilities. Venezuela found the largest gold ore in the world, the vein of gold ore. And all of a sudden, I made a joke on X as soon as I read that article, and I was like, well, looks like Venezuela needs some freedom. And I'll be doggone if we don't blow up two boats claiming that they're drug smugglers. And Venezuela's like, no, those are fishermen. You killed civilians. And now they've declared war on America. I didn't know if you knew that or not.
No, I hadn't heard
Yeah,
that.
Venezuela, as funny as that sounds,
Was that
has it.
today?
No, this has been weeks ago.
Oh man, no, I never heard about that. That's the whole thing
Yeah.
with this. That's this whole situation is crazy, especially with the Charlie Kirk thing. I'm sorry, I know people are probably tired of hearing about it at this point, but when that was happening, all these other crazy news stories, newsworthy stories were going on around the world that were not getting covered. It's like these kids, these Gen Z kids take over parliament, burn down parliament in Nepal,
Yeah.
totally inflate their corrupted government. You've got the guy in Brazil, their latest president put in prison for corruption. People
Yeah.
rallying in the streets over that. You had those farmers' revolts all across Europe where they were driving thousands of tractors into their government section and demanding an end to corruption. It's like, why are we not hearing about that? And on top of that, like a couple hours after Kirk was shot, some of our Republicans voted against it was some sort of an amendment that would not release the Epstein files.
Yes. That
And
they
it's like,
blocked the release. Yeah.
is this whole thing a distraction so that we don't rise up and fight against our corruption? You know?
This not only that, the same day the Charlie Kirk thing happened, it was either 31 or 33 journalists were killed in the Gaza Strip. We didn't hear a thing about that either.
No.
You don't hear any of that. And I'll tell you why you don't hear about Indonesia. You don't hear about Brazil because those are totalitarian communist countries. And all of a sudden the army teamed up with the civilians and they overthrew the government. But we in America we can't even, we're getting to the point where they're passing laws against our First Amendment and free speech. We're supposed to be the freest country in the world, but we can't. They're passing laws right now to try and stop. If you talk any of this or hate speech or any inciting any kind of violence against any politician, it's a federal crime. $500,000 fine and all this. They're already passing it. They already passed it in California.
I didn't see, and that's another one I haven't heard anything about.
In California, I don't know how they're going to tell where you're at. I guess don't use a VPN that's pinging you out of California, because you can get fined. I think it said $500,000.
We need seriously, we need a truly unbiased news network to rise up. Something ran by people who just don't care about R's and D's, that just don't even have a dog in the fight. People who are just waiting for that third party to happen one day magically. People who just don't have a political bias. Those are the kind of people we need to start some sort of a news network to lay out every story you and I just mentioned. Yes, without a bias, just so you know, this is what's happening. It's
all
that simple.
Around the world, around the world. We are the most powerful country in the world. I mean, our citizens are armed to the teeth.
Right.
We are the most powerful country in the world. There's no question about it. I mean, it was even said long, long ago, Cold War times, everything like that. The Russian generals, I can't remember who it was talking, but it was like, it wasn't the fact that we couldn't make landfall in America. It was the fact that we could account for their military, but we couldn't account for their civilians. Like, everybody has guns. We couldn't account for that. So,
yeah, that's our superpower.
That's our superpower. And we forget why we have that superpower, because we should be doing the same things as Indonesia and everybody else, like not asking the people that work for us to show us what we want and give us what we want. We need to go and just tell them this is how it's going to be.
And you look at these events like Gen 6, and it's like June 6th, right? Was it whatever, the raid on the Capitol?
January 6th.
Yeah. I'm combining Genesis 6 about the Giants and January 6th. When you look at January 6th, it's like, was that some sort of a major event staged to sort of expel people's ideas about storming the Capitol, right? Because if this is a government for the people, by the people, sometimes I think, you kind of do need to go up there and say, hey, we're in charge. We just want to remind you.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And
they scared everybody, because it's like what happened. They threw those guys in jail that were just walking around in there
with no trials.
Right.
They just kept them in jail.
And that diffuses future uprisings.
Yes.
With, psychologically, people just like, well, I don't want to be thrown in jail without a trial. So I guess I'm not going to go demand justice from my government.
Exactly. And that was the beginning of it. That was the beginning of it. Now we have these Larry Ellisons and Peter Thiels and this Palantir crap. Excuse me, what was I say?
No, you're good, man. That's
I didn't want to sneeze in the microphone. But I made jokes on X about this too. Like, eventually you're going to see every NFL game, NBA game, every commercial on TV is going to be brought to you by Palantir, keeping Americans safe since whatever year, 2020, whatever. But it's terrorism on free speech, on everything.
Mm-hmm.
Our 14th, our First Amendment, it's terrorism against us. It's unconstitutional. Mass surveillance is never okay.
No, it's not. And I'll say it again on here. Everybody go get you a copy of 1984, read it, and be on guard for that to happen. Just keep a watchful eye.
Yeah.
If we all read that book and were on guard, I think that we'd be able to stop some of the things that are coming our way, or at least we'd be a little bit more inclined to try and stop things that are heading our way, and hopefully cherish our privacy and demand our privacy, because that's this whole Palantir thing. That's wrapped up in a big old bundle of 1984 and things that are headed this way. They're going to take crypto and Palantir, and they got rid of CBDCs, but they're probably going to use stable coins now instead. And they're just going to put it all in a big old bundle that's going to make government bigger. And it's going to make government bigger across the world. Like, we're talking about one world government type stuff. That's the highway we're on when you look at Peter Thiel, and what's up with him talking about like apparently hanging out with Christians, talking about
Yeah,
Armageddon and stuff
he's
like
got
that.
a 4-part series on the Antichrist. Yeah, he's doing he's released now, I guess. I haven't watched it. I think I should just to see it, because Tim Dillon, the comedian Tim Dillon, he did like one of the best jokes about with Joe Rogan. He's like, because he's talking about Peter Thiel saying, because it's definitely not me. I'm not the Antichrist. I'm just going to do a 4-part series on it. But back to the UFOs turned into drones over Denmark. See, we've got all these natural resources here that we do not sell overseas because these major European countries, Poland, all these other places, their oil, coal, and all that comes from Russia. So why wouldn't we say those drones are from Russia? Right? Why wouldn't we say this is like Poland apparently intercepted missiles that were fired by Russia the other day? Poland's part of the UN, even though they're not very popular because I like that Polish prime minister. And then just yesterday, I watched a video of Keir Starmer, the British prime minister, talking about digital ID will be required for you to even work in London or England by the end of this parliament, is his exact words.
Hmm.
It will be required for you to work. I don't know about you. That sounds like the mark to me, but
Yeah, it's awfully close to something I've read about the Book of Revelation.
yeah,
It's
that's
like
sounds really familiar.
if stuff like that isn't the mark, then what is the mark? What are we talking? And like there's and I've always thought this, and I don't even think I've said this on the show yet, but in the back of my mind, in recent years, I've kind of had this thought that maybe the Antichrist is something to do with AI. And just the other day, I saw that this country elected their first AI prime minister or something. Have you seen that? It's Algeria, I think.
Yes, they have their first. I can't remember if it's prime minister or if it's just a member of parliament, but yeah,
I'm gonna look it up real quick because I don't think you're right. I don't think prime minister is what they're calling it, but
but it is an AI. I mean, that's the beginning of that too.
yeah,
That's one of those things where, why would you want anybody with any kind of bias or that's going to make money off of insider trading when we can have all AI delegates? But who's programming the AI? Who's telling the AI what to do? You know what I mean?
right. That's
It's not
exactly
like it's sentient. There's still going to be bias built within the system.
yeah. It is Algeria. I don't know if I said the country right before, but it's
Yes,
Algeria. And yeah, that's my fear as well. It's like, where is this? Who's controlling this thing behind the scenes? Are
e-
these
exactly.
entities able to
Yeah,
come in and influence what this thing says?
exactly.
Because I mean, that's what I see in like Revelation and some of those passages there. It's like there seems like there's going to be a fight amongst entities for power. And because you've got what Abaddon, Apollyon, you have the Whore of Babylon, who I believe is an entity named
Yes,
Ishtar and Anna. And then you have some other figures in the mix. It seems like Semyaza, perhaps even, it seems like they're going to be vying for control. They're going to be infighting for control over the nations.
oh yeah.
Um, it'd be a lot easier for them if they could just control an AI.
Yeah, like there's no possibility of anything happening to that. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? I
because
mean,
they don't have to show their form, whatever
yeah,
that form is,
yeah,
right?
exactly.
I know I'm getting kind of woo-woo on some people maybe with
No,
that idea, but like
no,
I think these are real entities.
this is
So
what Sam Tripoli's been saying for years, hardwiring mysticism.
yeah,
It's these demon AI, the AI demons. That's what I call them all the time. Like, well, I'm gonna go check with the AI demons to see what this was is, but it really is the easiest search engine to use. You know what I
Mm,
mean?
hmm.
I've got it on good sources that Grok is actually 100,000 Indians just typing on different computers. But but I can't confirm. It's a trusted source though. Um,
Yeah, and I mean, you see all these videos of people interacting with AI, asking AI questions, and some of those responses that they're getting are very spooky. It's like,
yes.
oh, you're not supposed to know that.
Here's the most important thing about AI. I'll tell you. Like I had a discussion with Grok one day when I first downloaded it for like 4 hours about how to build. Uh, and it's slipping my mind, but Nikola Tesla's towers to collect ether, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah. Wardenclyffe,
the
it's
Warden
called.
Cliff Towers,
Yeah.
yes, thank you. And he gave me a location, like Farallon Islands off the coast of California, where there's no power lines or people, and you've got like 5 miles. You could try to light up a light bulb at that distance. He even suggested, because Grok doesn't believe in ether, so he suggested I bring a diesel generator along to kickstart the towers. And I'm like, well, that would be cheating, Grok. Ether's out there. You're lying to me. But yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
why did the CIA or FBI, whoever Donald Trump's uncle worked for, he collected all of Nikola Tesla's papers, everything when he died.
Oh,
He took
absolutely, man. I
he
was
took everything.
just looking at something, and the link doesn't exist anymore. Somebody sent me a link on my Instagram page. They listened to one of my episodes, and they about Lilith, and
Oh yeah.
they had AI respond to it or something, listen to it and respond to it, and they sent me this whole page with the AI had to say about Lilith in my episode. It was really creepy, and I just looked, and the link is gone. Like I can't. I was
Oh
going to
my
show you,
God.
but yeah, what were you just saying about? Oh, yeah, Trump's uncle who got the Tesla. That's real interesting, man, because
Yeah.
that I remember when you did a. I'll tie this in with Roswell, right? I remember when you did on your show, you did a expose on Roswell.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was you, right? That was like
Yes, that was me. Yeah.
your deep dive. Well, it's real interesting, man, because Tesla dies in 1943. They send John Trump in there to look through his papers and to retrieve certain things
Yeah.
specifically. And I've heard the interview where John Trump talks about this. This is not conspiracy theory. He literally says it. You can listen to it on YouTube. He says they sent him in there to find specific technology that had to do with taking objects out of the sky. So that was 43. 1947 is when Roswell happens. So I've
Yeah.
always, in the back of my mind, thought, oh, they were working with that. They were probably working with that Tesla technology, and they took that thing out of the sky, whatever it was.
Yeah. Yeah. The
The
crash.
crash.
Yeah, the crash. So they could reverse engineer
And I'll tell you
with
something
their
else
brand
about
new
that.
Nazi scientists.
Right.
I
Well,
mean,
yeah, I think the Nazis were certainly involved with this because they were integrating right before this crash happened. That's when they're integrating. By the time 1947 comes around, the Nazis are in a new type of uniform, the good old American suit and tie, and they're
yeah.
they're hard at work. And that ranch out there was owned by the Fosters, where that crash happened. They've tried to keep this real quiet, but you can go and you can look into the Fosters because they had some things to say about that. The government came in there and demanded that they buy that ranch from the Fosters, and they did. They bought it, and in the area, the government was laying out sanctions too, telling people you can't have livestock in this area because of radiation that was being detected. All to do with that whatever fell.
It makes you
Crazy.
wonder, was it irradiated before or after they did what they did to make it fall?
I
But
think it was after, man, because I fell down the UFO rabbit hole hard a couple years ago, man. And one of the things that I was finding in some of these stories was like, especially specifically like crash stories. Anytime a crash would happen, people started seeing these other types of government people. They weren't like Men in Black, but they kind of showed up in the same type of way. But they wore like gray suits and they worked for the Department of Energy, and they had all these weird devices that they were measuring like radiation and stuff. So
Hmm.
the Department of Energy has their own form of men in black who go out to crash sites and test for radiation and who knows what else.
Oh yeah, dude. The Department of, gosh, the Department of Energy. That needs to be one of those things. If they want to revamp something,
Mm,
like I don't know what's going on. All in the same year, we're going to release these files. We're going to release these files. We're going to do all this. We're going to do all this. Now he's there. We didn't get these files. We got these files that are so redacted, and it's the same old story we've been told over and over again. And
then all
we
the
watch.
Republicans in Congress pretty much vote to like do some sort of bill. They slip it in there somehow to where now they don't have to release them all together a couple hours after Charlie Kirk shot.
Yes.
Sorry, I'm not trying to cut you off, but like that's the
No,
perspective that we're trying to chip away at here. Like,
what is going on? It's everything, everywhere, all at once.
yeah.
You know what I mean? That's exactly what they're doing. And it's to create confusion. And that right there shows you that it's not godly in the first place. So, because there's no confusion when God's in something. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? There's no secrets. There's no bad feelings. There's no confusion at all. There's peace. That's it. So I don't understand what's going on. I pray things get better, but the Bible doesn't point in that direction. I mean, we win,
Mhm.
but it doesn't say it's going to be easy near the end.
Yeah,
But
I know, man.
I'm not black pilled either. I'm not completely off the red. I'm still red pilled all to pieces, but I'm not giving up on anything by any means. If they're like, I'm not saying we should or it should happen. I'm just saying if there was a revolution, I'd probably join it. That's, you know what I mean?
Yeah, man, I saw a verse just the other night, and I'm trying to remember. It was in Jeremiah, and it was kind of alluding to something you just said. And I don't remember I don't remember perfectly, but I'll paraphrase. It was something about God's wrath being very apparent, more so towards the end of days.
Yeah.
And that was in Jeremiah, like,
Yeah. I mean, look, and these guys, these storms. Have you seen all these storms that are coming on the East Coast here? Are you in the Appalachians?
I'm from there, but I live in Nashville right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, I mean, talking about the Nazi scientists earlier, an entire town was built in the Smokies for them. It's called Oak Ridge, Tennessee. And then they made a show about it. I can't remember what the show is called. My wife and I loved it because it was just a funny little, it's just a show for families. And it's all these scientists that live in this one town in
Hmm.
Tennessee that was built just for
Yeah,
the
for Manhattan.
Operation Paperclip. Yeah.
Yeah, it was with the Manhattan Project.
Yes, the Manhattan Project.
Yeah, that's a really weird place. I've looked into Oak Ridge some. It's not terribly far from here. That whole area of East Tennessee is wild. It's loaded with stuff. I've found
Oh,
things that are would blow your mind, man. There were ancient civilizations there. There were shamans there, like a bunch of old wizards there practicing all kinds of stuff. There was Egyptian temples. That's not my
yeah.
concoction. I have the article that says that. It's a guy
Oh, it's
from
under the
Oxford.
lake.
Yeah, yeah.
They buried it.
I found there's four sites out there under lakes that I've found so far. That's why I'm trying to talk to Tony Merkel eventually,
Yeah.
because I want to talk to him about East Tennessee. Because Tony, if you're listening, if you ever hear this, I can blow your mind. I promise you with some of
And
the
he's
stuff.
he's right there in the heart of it. I mean, he's so close to Oak Ridge, it's not funny.
I
But
know. I know.
yeah,
I remember them talking about it on that show. Yeah. That whole place was they called it what, the secret city?
yeah,
Yeah, it's pretty wild, man. There's a lot of
yeah.
crazy stories with that. There was a guy named John Hendricks who lived there in the at the turn of the century, right around 1900. And his wife, well, okay, he had a daughter who died, and the wife blamed him. So she took the rest of the kids and went to Arkansas, and he became like this mystic hermit guy. They called him the prophet of Oak Ridge. His name was John Hendricks. He would go out into the wilderness of Oak Ridge of East Tennessee 40 days at a time and would get these messages from God, he said. And he would go into the town of Clinton and tell everybody about it. And he very quickly got the reputation for being crazy. They even tried to lock him up. They didn't even have a jail, so they locked him in a barn. And he had like something prophetic to say about that too. He's like, for what you guys did to me, this barn and this farm will burn because God has told me so. And not long after that, the whole thing burnt down like from a lightning strike.
Oh
But
my
what he was
God.
saying about Oak Ridge was like, he's like, this is why they thought he was crazy. He's like, this whole valley is going to be a city one day. And it's going to be a group of people working on something that's going to make the earth shake. And
Listen, the
he was
Bible
talking about
tells
that
us.
bomb.
Yeah, the Bible tells us the prophets lived out in the wilderness eating locusts and honey. That's what they
Yep.
survived on. They were the crazies. You know what I mean?
That's what this
Like,
guy, he went full on biblical prophet mode out there in East Tennessee, man. And he told him, and like at the height of the war, 40 years after he made these predictions, there was, I think there was like 100, maybe it was 77,000 people living there at one point working on this Manhattan Project, working on this bomb. And he also said that he was taken up in some sort of a UFO too and told things. So that's Oak
jeez.
Ridge for you folks.
Yeah.
That's part of it at least.
Yeah. Oh man. Oh,
That's why well, I say our because I used to live in Appalachia, but I was in North Carolina in those mountains. Appalachia is weirder than we thought, man. Like, well, but like,
Oh yeah.
it's weird.
It's weird. All the old sayings, don't whistle at night, don't answer when your name's called if you're out in the woods, things like that.
Yeah, man. I've always wondered about that one. That's the don't whistle at night one. I was told that too, and I still don't know what
I can't
happens
remember.
if you do,
I can't remember how that saying goes. It was something they used to say, don't whistle at night unless you want the devil to find you or something. I can't remember how it goes.
Yeah.
And I don't know what devil they're talking about. So, it could be because they call them a lot of things devils around here, instead of demons or demonic, them's them devils. So,
My girlfriend's grandmother, this old school Appalachian woman, Appalachian granny, right?
yeah.
Probably one of the most godly women in the community, and was known for that. Was known for how just she walked with the Lord and she helped everybody out. She took people food and did all that. Was prayed for everybody. But and I didn't know this until I started dating her granddaughter, but she had some pretty interesting beliefs as well that weren't talked about to do with fairies and other such things, and how there's certain things that you do to make sure the fairies don't come into your house,
Yeah. God.
or if you open up a window, you open up the front door too so they can come through, not get trapped in there, sort of stuff.
Yeah. That's, yeah. Oh man, see all our windows and doors are, we bless them, with the olive oil. We go by and we, over top of every one of them, we say our prayers and bless the house. And I'm not running sage through the house or anything like that. I'm not, just prayers. And then, anointing, that's what you call it. Anointing the door frames, things like that. For some reason, I'm having trouble with words this evening. So, but,
You're crushing it, man. I'm following. I'm tracking.
did you ever hear? Do you remember when we used to talk about the rock carvings we found?
Yeah, in fact, I was going to bring that up actually. So I was wanting to ask you about the treasure and the rock carvings, all of that.
So the
I'd
treasure.
love to hear about it, but we can start with the rock carvings, man, because I'm very interested in that.
Well, the rock carvings. So Lance messaged us the other day in a little group chat, and he's like, "Fellas, look at what I just did." And basically, we've had no luck with any archaeologist or anybody like that telling us what these could date back to and all everything. So he runs it through Grok, and Grok comes back, and he didn't give it a geographical location to start with, but Grok comes back with all this stuff, and he's like dating it and everything. But as soon as he told him Southwest Virginia, because we're in the southwestern corner of Virginia. So he puts that in there. And then Grok comes back and he's like, okay, let me pull this up real fast so I don't misspeak.
So Southwest Virginia.
Yeah, we're right on the border of West Virginia, Kentucky,
Yep.
Tennessee. Follow the link.
Yeah,
please.
that's is North Carolina kind of in there too? Isn't it like almost like a Four Corners region?
Oh yeah. If
Yeah.
I go in Hayside, Virginia here, which I'm in a different county than them, but I'm in the same town. But if I go one direction, uh, southeast here, I'll go right into Gate City, Virginia, which goes right into Johnson City, Tennessee, and I can be in Asheville in probably 2.5 hours.
Okay.
I can be in Kentucky in 15 minutes. I can be in West Virginia in 15, 20 minutes. I can actually go to Bristol, Tennessee in less time, maybe 45 minutes than I could to go the other way. But yeah, we're right here all around, just surrounded the Appalachians. It's like we're right in the heart of it, you know?
Are you near Wise?
Yes.
All
That's
right.
actually where Lance used to live.
All right. Cool.
And then
I might pull up a map here, bro.
so we find this so he tells it's found in West Virginia or Southwest Virginia. So it's like, thanks for the location detail. So it's the spirals and the interconnected loops are characteristic of Appalachian petroglyphs, often called cup and spiral or concentric circle motifs. So let's see, let me go down to this. Cultural and historical. So likely attributed to pre-Columbian native groups like the Monacan, which are Cherokee ancestors, or earlier archaic peoples. Spirals in the region often denote whirlpools or vortices representing portals to the spirit world.
Mm.
So akin to the Mississippian rattlesnake or the sun disk motifs. But this Grok says the carvings align well with indigenous rock art traditions here dating roughly 1000 to 3000 BCE. So the woodland or the archaic periods,
Mm.
which is way older than we thought it would be. Because now you're talking 4 to 5,000 years old.
So is it a spiral kind of like this one here?
It's kind of like that.
Well, this is kind of blowing my mind because I didn't know that Appalachia had spiral glyphs.
Yes.
That's cool.
So there's actually, it says in other regions, Saltville, Virginia, which is in Smith County, there's clustered spirals with branching lines. Castle Rock, which is in Tazewell County, Virginia, interleak circles on mossy boulders. And
Mm.
then nearby West Virginia, North Carolina border sites have organic eroded loops symbolizing water and fertility.
Oh, and it's funny because here's some from out west when people are commenting on here portals.
Yeah, yeah, dude.
Yeah.
It's it's just crazy. We thought for a long time that maybe it was to do with John Swift. Maybe this is some kind of treasure map because it was in the map it was talking about the stairs, like the natural staircase from
Hmm.
the bottom entrance to the top entrance of this mine. But things got kind of crazy when we were looking into that, and it was like a lot of spiritual stuff. Like it wasn't affecting me mostly because I guess the devil already had a hold of me. He wasn't bothering me. But with Lance and Justin, like Justin a long time ago, I don't know if you ever heard him talk about Bruno, the deity that used to bother him when his son was first born. But and then he and his wife left that house, took Connor when he was a baby, got out of there.
Hmm.
And very long time before they would go back. But it was crazy. And Lance actually witnessed some of that activity, like this shadow thing moving from picture frame to picture frame across the wall. But it was almost like Justin felt like that kind of attack again. He was in the hot tub one night at his house, which is a very remote location. He's got two neighbors, and he had his head laid back, just kind of looking up. His street lights kind of put out light pollution, so you can't really see the stars right there. But he's looking for all he can, looking up, and raises his head up, and then there's this woman in this white dress right beside of his building, like leaning out, peeking out over the building. And he's like, okay. He just closes his eyes, he's praying a little bit, gets up, gets out of the hot tub, he's walking away, looks back. She's not there, but there's an owl sitting on top of the building. It's always an owl,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It's always an owl.
That's that Lilith motif.
Yes, the woman in the white dress, the owls, and for some reason we were really looking into Lilith and the Pan connection, and and then Pennyroyal had done those whatever they did, the kind of ceremonies for Pan. They did somebody did it in Somerset, Kentucky, and they come over into Hellier, Kentucky, which 15 minutes over the hill. Yeah, on the other side of the Breaks Interstate Park here. Justin actually messaged them a while back to see if they did it inside the Breaks, but they held some kind of ceremony for Pan.
And I remember in Hellier, they were talking about those glyphs up there on those rocks.
Yeah.
Do you remember that part? Wasn't it the Big Sandy River? They had some sort of glyphs up there on the rocks that may have been associated with this treasure. I don't know because, well, if you look back, I got real into that Swift Silver Mine treasure years back. I'll have to tell you about it some other time. But I remember there was a map. It was called Inlay's Map.
Yeah.
And it was supposedly where one of those silver mines were. And you see the Big Sandy River on there. Well, when those guys in Hellier went out there, guys and gals, local people, if I'm remembering correctly, were telling them, oh, yeah, there's glyphs up on the cliff faces down there.
Yeah. And see there, we know John Swift used the river to float barrels of silver down because there was a Native American chief, and I cannot remember his name for some reason. We talked about him a million times. There's even a sign on the bridge over in Dickinson County on the way to Wise. There's a sign talking about that Native American chief. They kept attacking these parties and stealing, like gold, silver, different things, and then bartering it away to other people. But not only that, it's got a connection to Mothman in the fact that John Swift married Chief Cornstalk's daughter, and there's a cornstalk carved over there in those hills also.
And the Cornstalk's daughter had an amulet on a necklace that looked like a Mothman.
Yes.
Some sort of a cryptid looking Mothman thing.
Yes. Yes. And it's got ties to all that. So I don't know if we're ever going to go looking for this treasure. From what everybody thinks, it's on Pine Mountain I think that's on the Kentucky side. Once you cross over from Wise County into the Kentucky. But from what the maps we got from that treasure hunter down in Florida, it's nowhere near Pine Mountain. It would be it's in another location, which is extremely isolated, hard to get to. Can't really go in the summer because of the rattlesnake population. And if you get bit there, you're dependent on whoever's there to get you out because nobody's going to be able to come in and get you. They're not even going to be able to bring helicopters in. It's just a wooded, dense, thick woods out in the middle of nowhere.
I think
with
it would
lots
have
of
to
rock
be-
faces.
It'd have to be kind of in a location like that to go unfound all these years, with all the coal
Yeah.
mining and everything else, the
Yes.
trapping. I'm not saying that those mountains are like flooded with people because they're not, but people have been through there. So if it was in a super remote area, that would make sense as to why it hasn't been found yet.
Yeah. I mean, but the thing is from the road, you can see the area. It's just getting to it. It's getting there is the problem.
Hmm.
This is gonna be one of those deals where, this is where I'm gonna be. You need a GPS tracker on you, and probably not gonna have cell phone service until you get higher up on that mountain. If you even go that far. I don't know if you even go that far.
Yeah, DeSoto talked about coming up into Appalachia. There's more to that story too than what we've been told, I think, because they said he was looking for gold. I think he was looking for treasure because I
Yes.
think he knew about ancient civilizations that were rumored to be up in them hills. And this goes
Yes.
back to what I was saying about East Tennessee. It's not just East Tennessee, it's that whole Appalachian region. There's a bunch of old civilizations up in there, and some of them are under lakes. Some of them, I don't know what happened to them, but these guys knew about it. That's why they went there in the first place. DeSoto didn't get off a boat in Georgia or come to Georgia and trek all the way up into Appalachia from coastal Georgia just because he wanted to sightsee. He
Yeah.
knew he knew something. There was a treasure from Columbus. I think you guys had a guy on who mentioned treasure from Columbus, right?
Yeah, the
In
guy that we
Appalachia.
got the maps on, the
Yeah.
guy we got the maps from actually found one of Columbus's ships.
Mm.
And then he found part of Blackbeard's treasure.
Yeah.
So that's how he made his bones in treasure hunting. He found one of Columbus's ships and he found part of Blackbeard's treasure. So he'd already made it. It was just a land deal with this guy that Lance worked with, his parents, and it had fallen through. And then it's a whole crazy story that they got into, dude, and traveling up to Ohio, getting a ping on precious metals where he said there would be, and then it turned out to be a Native American burial ground. You can't dig there. Like what? And then,
Yeah, that was in Cincinnati, right?
yeah, that was in
Yeah, man.
Cincinnati. Yeah.
I
And
remember
it's,
that episode very well. That people will just tell people go check those episodes out.
yeah,
Because y'all did two of them, right? On the Swift Silver Mines.
yeah, yes. We did quite a few. We
Yeah.
talked to Tripley on Tinfoil Hat about it. That was I wish I hadn't been. I was in South Carolina going through a hurricane, of course, when we get to record with Sam Tripley. So I had to do it on my cell phone with earbuds in,
Yeah.
and the sound and my quality was crap. So hopefully I'll run it back with Sam again one day and it'll be a microphone and a computer. But
Man, but those episodes they're really good. People should go check them out. I'll have to go back and listen to the one you did with Tripoli. I'm sure I heard it, but I'm definitely remembering as we're talking today. I'm definitely remembering those two that you guys did, and I don't remember what you titled them. Swift Treasure Part One and Part Two or something. I don't know along those
something,
lines. But I mean, I'm thinking too that about the Bible, and the Bible mentions two places. They mention Ophir and Uphaz.
yeah,
Uphaz was thought to mean gold or pure gold. And there's another part in Jeremiah I'm thinking of too. It's Jeremiah chapter 10 where they say that the gold from Uphaz was kind of curated by a goldsmith who wore purple.
hmm.
So DeSoto was basically because I've looked into this DeSoto treasure thing too. He was in Knoxville in that area below Knoxville, but a chief came down and told DeSoto if he wanted to find the gold, he needed to go north. So, and I'm working on a case right now where purple was found in that very area north of Knoxville. Old ancient people had purple dye.
Oh
So,
yeah,
and they had sea stuff suggesting that they were seafaring, even though they were in the mountains. They were using these river systems to get in there. So there's more details that I'll just leave out because I don't want to give it all up because I might go looking for this thing one day.
yeah,
But there's a good chance that there's a gold mine and more up there. And it's not just in Tennessee. I think it could be in this Four Corners region that we're talking about, man.
Yeah. Absolute, dude, there's no telling what's in these mountains.
No
I mean,
telling.
no telling. It's not like, I don't feel like it's like Alaska where, there's places where nobody's ever stepped foot, but there's probably places nobody's stepped foot in a seriously long time. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And we have no idea what the geography looked like, a few hundred years ago. We don't even have photos of this area, anything like that, past the earliest invention of the camera. But I mean, how big, how deep did the rivers run? How big did they run through here? How did they cultivate? Because now we've got dams everywhere. Since I came along, there's always been dams, so I can't speak before that. But
Hmm. The
but
rivers
I
were
mean,
were bigger though.
oh
Overall, I
yeah,
think that's what I'm finding. I mean, we know the Mississippi was wider, and the Ohio they were traveling those these waterways, man. Ancient people, Phoenicians, Canaanites, were finding all kinds of clues that they were not only traveling the world in ships at that time, but they were doing it over here, and they were coming up to the Great Lakes looking for that copper. Well, not looking for it, they were mining it.
yeah.
So they may have been mining other stuff over here.
A good example of that is Hayti, Virginia itself. It used to be a logging town and a logging mill
Mm.
down there. And I've got a neighbor down the road here that told me her grandpa would explain to her. Now, I've got a little bitty stream. I can step across it running through my yard. It comes down off the mountain by all the neighbors, by me, runs into a larger creek which runs all the way down to the end of the holler and onto the main road into a larger creek than that, which goes into the river down in Hayti. She said her grandpa told her he used to ride logs from Greenbrier here to Hayti. Like all the way, that's like a 10, 12 minute drive from here. And he used to ride logs from here to Hayti to go to work
On a river?
on the river.
Wow.
Like they would ride the logs down.
Love
And there
that.
there there are pictures in this restaurant downtown. Well, they used to be there. I don't know since that restaurant closed, but you could see like where the bridges are now, they weren't there, but the river was way bigger. And there were just logs from east to west bank, north to south bank. And the people were standing on these logs, dude.
Oh my
So
gosh, man.
that's just,
I got to tell you something. Okay, like that an example of what you're talking about. We have one right here in Nashville. There's this restaurant that I take my parents to when they come to town. They've got all these old vintage pictures of Nashville up on the walls. Big old
yeah,
blown up pictures. And for some reason, we always get sat at this table right across from this one particular picture, and it's the old banks of the Cumberland in where it meets downtown. Now, today, the banks of the Cumberland are like 20 feet. It's like a 20-foot drop at least from
yeah,
downtown. But in this picture, that water line is right up there,
yeah,
flush with the streets almost.
yeah,
That
dude.
these rivers, brother, they were running thicker, man.
Yeah. So tell me how these people's got around. You're telling me it's like I can't remember who it was I heard say it. Like that you're telling me in a Native American tribe there wasn't one person in there that seen these rivers like, hey, I'm gonna build a canoe. I'm gonna go down here. I'll be back in a month. I'm gonna tell you what I find. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And that people and then these sea travelers. I mean, you got to go back to the Moors, probably. I mean, coming over, we know there's Gulf streams that bring you from off the coast of Africa towards North America.
Yeah, one of them's called, I even heard it referred to as the Canary or the Canary Stream because
Yes.
it comes down right from the Canary Islands right there and it
Yeah.
comes all the way straight up to North America. And, it's interesting because there was a group of people called the Guanches who lived in the Canary Islands, and they were said to be blonde-haired, blue-eyed giants that were descendants of the Canaanites,
How about that?
living right next to that perfect little stream that comes straight to America.
Yeah, come straight to America, right into the Appalachians. If right there.
Yeah. Well,
You're just
I think they could come up through Georgia, man. This is kind of my wheelhouse, right? So, it's like looking into ancient North American history. And I found that there used to be an ancient port city called Frederica in Georgia.
Huh.
And I even have like old drawings of it, sketches of it. It had a star fort and it had a walled city there. And I think what part of the reason why that was where it's at is because there was an opening, a mouth to one of the rivers there that runs probably up into South Carolina. It's probably an old route that DeSoto was trying to refine.
Yeah.
Yeah. They were,
That's-
but to your point, like, they were coming over here, hopping on these rivers, and they were coming up into Appalachia. And another thing, I've got a map of the old Cherokee city that's underneath Tellico Lake, and it's
yeah.
called Chota the Metropolis because it was an actual city. It wasn't teepees and fires. They knew how to build buildings, and they had streets and everything. There's a road on the map that runs right through Chota, and it says on the map to Charleston, south to Charlestown, which is Charleston, South Carolina, and then
Yeah.
the road runs right through Chota and it goes up north and it says to Virginia.
That's crazy.
So that there was a road running through the Cherokee city that people were using. They were coming in from Charleston and going up in the Appalachia, man. But they've been doing it. They've been doing that, I think, for millennia.
Yeah.
Coming
Now
up
we
in
call it what is it? 85. That's,
yeah,
but
yeah.
yeah, dude.
What do you think those glyphs are? So you guys found or were clued into these glyphs up on top of a mountain, like rock carvings and stuff, and you guys
Yeah.
hiked up there, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's not much of a hike. You can drive, with the new roads going up, and then you walk down the power line clearing, uh, and then just step off into the woods at a certain point, and you'll come up on this rock face. It's probably 25, 30 foot drop, but at the very top of it is this big giant rock with all these carvings in it. And then at one end of it, there's a man with a triangle shaped head, and his arms are down. And then at the other end of it, there's a guy with a triangle shaped head, and his arms are up.
Whoa,
So yeah, it's pretty crazy.
whoa, that's kind of psychedelic, man.
Yeah, that's it's
Triangle heads.
yeah, they were talking about.
Did they have facial features inside the triangle?
They did not. It's
Okay.
just a triangle shape. Um, this is a cleaned up version without the moss AI did. So that's pretty much I don't know if you can see that. Oh, it's gonna blur it.
Yeah, I
Oh,
yeah, I'm sorry, man.
I'll send it to you on Instagram.
Yeah, sure.
But this is
It looks like a really white. Is it white? The rock is white?
well, no, it's I would say limestone or
Hmm.
sandstone, but he used AI and it cleared all the moss off of it. So it just cleaned the moss off of it so it could show you what the actual image is underneath it. Yeah, it used that moss to try and kind of date it as well with all the lichen and moss that was growing on it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that rock that's turned out to be pretty cool. Now I know the Monacan. I got to look into them. I don't know any. They're the Cherokee ancestors, so I've got to look into that. And
Monacan.
yes, it's the Monac Monacan. So I'm gonna look into those guys so I can get more information about what those spirals might actually mean to them.
Mm.
Or what these carvings might represent. So we might find maybe this is a spiritual place, maybe it's a sacrificial place. That was going on a lot back then.
That's interesting, man. If I find anything on that, I'll let you know. So it's if you send me a picture of that, and if I see anything on there that I recognize, I'll let you know. And I know the Cherokee were also they shared family DNA or what they call stock, right? They had Iroquois stock,
Yeah.
so they came down from up north at some point.
Yeah, they
Cherokee
had to have
did,
migrated.
yeah. And there's a lot of stuff up there to look into, like carvings and symbols and all this. Like there's a whole entire forgotten language of symbolism that these people were using.
Yeah. I mean, most of these Native American tribes don't even have a written language. They don't have, anything you could actually learn their language through. It's just passed down,
Hmm.
which,
Some of them did, and it got destroyed,
oh yeah.
apparently.
Oh yeah. Much like the Spanish conquistador, I always although I will give Spain their props right now. They're doing pretty good. But back then, they were, they ruined everything when they
Yeah.
burnt everything. What was it? The Incans, the Mayans, they ruined everything. But
You got me
I don't.
thinking, man, about those triangle guys pointing up and pointing down. That's telling you something. We just
Yes.
gotta figure out what it is. And like, I'm thinking about Garrick Mallory. He was a guy who wrote a book on the glyphs and the rock carvings, and he thought that they were not just carving like stick figures, which they were to our eyes, but
Yeah.
to their eyes, their trained eyes, that was forming entire sentences
Yeah.
of information. And this guy
That's
wrote a book on it. He
that's what
this
I want to look into those guys. As much information as I can get on the Monarchans and see if I can tie these designs to anything. Which I'm
and
sure Lance is looking into too. He's one of those guys. He'll study it all the way through.
they had some sort of a secret society as well. The natives did that where they used the triangle for
Hmm.
that as well. Sometimes they had a triangle with a little face in it. I don't know much about what that means, but I also know up there near that big sandy river, there's a serpent mound.
Yes.
Did you know about that?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's crazy, isn't it?
Yes.
Of course, you got the big one in Ohio.
Right.
And then Bo and them found a mound out in, I think that's Mingo County where he's from. I can't remember, but up towards in the Logan, West Virginia area.
Yeah.
Bowen, I'm pretty sure it was, or was it? No, it was, oh man, their names are slipping my mind right now. I'll send them to you when I figure it out.
I found this one the other day. It's in the 60s. L. Brisbane discovers and identified the Great Stone Serpent Mound on a ridgetop above the Big Sandy River, not far from the Ohio River, near Catlettsburg, Kentucky. Catlettsburg, that's on the confluence of two rivers.
Yeah.
And what we're finding is that that's where people were putting their ancient settlements, right? Where two rivers would split off, basically.
Yeah.
Um, the Big Sandy River marks the border between Kentucky and West Virginia there. It took L. Brisbane some time to get the ground cleared up and to map the actual stone structure, and even more time before professionals took a look at it and recognized it for what it was. Of course, much is known about the Great Serpent Mound of Ohio, dated to the Middle Woodland times, but that is an earthen structure. The stone serpent is unique in that it was constructed totally of stone, but winds its way for over 500 feet up one side, across the top, and down the other side of a ridge. So and it says there's limestone nearby. There was an altar they found. Survey indicates that an altar area, perhaps an egg in the serpent's mouth, similar to the one in Ohio, was there, and a bench below the head, which is more than 20 feet across and may have been 12 feet high. So, oh, and it also says there was a solar alignment with the summer solstice, of course, right?
Oh, of course.
So, this is a remarkable sight, man.
I mean, these are times when no light pollution existed. So what I would love to see what they saw in the night skies back then. There were parts when my wife and we moved to Alaska, and we drove from Pennsylvania to Fairbanks, Alaska.
Mm.
So with three kids, that was 8 days of nightmare. But the entire Alaskan highway from right there in British Columbia all the way up into Tok, Alaska, when you finally cross the border, dude, You want to talk about zero light pollution when you're driving through the
Mm.
Canadian Rockies? I do not recommend it in February. That was a terrible idea. But dude, the night skies, great. It's like they're right there.
Mhm.
It's like the galaxies are right there at your fingertips. Even though I'm starting to think space is fucking gay too, but I don't know. That I need to be. I'm not saying we're on a flat surface. I'm just saying
Yeah.
something's going on.
Well, there's
But
something going on because we can see it.
yeah,
We can see stars and what I would call planets. I know there's
yeah,
probably some conjecture on that, but and man, I'll tell you something too. The alchemists, all these guys back in the day who had all this heaps of information, they talked about the planets, man.
yeah.
They're like, you can do certain things during certain alignments, and it helps you with your alchemy and all kinds of other stuff. But it kind of points back to some of this Appalachian folk magic we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
These guys felt like you could factor the planets into that.
Well, I
So they
mean,
believed in space. So that always made me go, maybe there's something to the space thing. I'm not saying that we're being told the truth by NASA or anything like that,
I
but
don't.
something's going on up there, like he said.
Yeah.
And man, that's a lot coming from an Appalachian boy saying that the stars were very clear. Because I mean, we have a better view of the stars in Appalachia than most people.
Yes. There's still the light pollution from the street light. There is actually a graveyard up on the mountain on the property here. Her grandmother, her grandfather, uncles, they're all buried up there. And my neighbor buddy up the road here, his wife's family is buried up there. He owns the other part of it. So we'll go up there sometimes, turn the truck lights off, dude, and just sit and you can just talk and lay there and look up and it's exactly like you're in the Canadian Rocket. It's right there. It's crazy. Watch the satellites go by, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
But
Watch it. If you're in Oak Ridge, you might catch a UFO or two.
yeah, yeah.
Well, you mentioned something just now. You said you were talking about a graveyard up on a hill, and I couldn't help but think of one of y'all's episodes. Do you
Oh
know what I'm
yeah.
talking about?
Yes. Now I still haven't gone to that graveyard. Justin went up there and he went with I can't remember that girl's name. But he went up there with her. See, I told you, I took a lot of edibles in that show. So I sit and I struggle. But since I've come off of the edibles and, been working on all this, now my brain's more conspiracy wired, I guess you would say. Um, I do believe more in ghosts. When Jesus came back to the disciples after he was risen and he just appeared to him in that house, he told them, "Don't be afraid, I'm not a ghost." So why would
Right.
he say that if ghosts didn't exist? And then the other part of it was now I believe in magic and wizardry and sorcery because the same magicians in the Pharaoh's courts threw down their staffs and they turned to snakes too. It's just Moses' snake ate the other ones. So the Pharaoh was like, oh, his God must be the best.
Yeah.
It's crazy stuff. This stuff exists.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, man. I think that it was just more prevalent and more accepted back in those times. And by those times, yeah, I mean biblical times, but also probably also the 1700s and the
Yeah.
1800s.
Yeah. I
It
mean,
seems like this disconnection we have with the supernatural and the spiritual realm is a very new thing.
yes. Now, were the Salem witch trials demonized because the demons got in control, right? And then was like,
Mhm.
hey, these people were crazy. I'm not going to go out and say that they were right in doing what they did. I don't know. I'm just saying we don't need to just be like, oh, those crazy Quakers, but, just burning everybody.
Yeah. I
What were
mean,
they fighting against? What were they going up against? You know what I mean?
it's like you said earlier, you were talking about how the Spirit of God doesn't bring confusion and it tends to bring clarity to situations. And whatever was happening, I think we can say for sure that it wasn't the Spirit of God that was leading those people to do what they did, to burn people
Yeah.
at the stake. Like that seems to be more of a spirit of confusion.
Yeah.
but a spirit nonetheless.
A
It's
spirit
just, yeah,
nonetheless.
but it's just not the what we say that it's this dark side. It's totally.
Yeah.
I think that there was some demonic, we'll say, some negative spirit influence with that situation.
Yeah. And who's to say that these women weren't and I'll go out on that note. Who's to say these women weren't practicing that things and the same demons that taught them turned on them because they're not on anybody's side, and then put it in these people, you need to burn them, they're witches and all this, and now completely corrupted those, God's people. That's what it's all about.
Hmm.
Corruption, destroying God's seed, everything like that. It's a seed war. That's what I
Yeah.
believe. It's about a seed war.
Yeah, I'm seeing it too, man. Like, I mean, I believe in the Sea War. I'm a big proponent of Genesis 3:15,
Yeah.
and
I
I
was gonna
think
say
it's
from the time of Cain, from that time, I mean, his name is acquired in Hebrew.
yes,
So
yes,
that doesn't mean that he was begat by Adam and Eve. He was begat
right.
by Eve, but maybe the forbidden fruit wasn't a fruit. What if it says she enjoyed it, and then she had it with Adam and he enjoyed it. And then they saw their nakedness. What if
Yeah,
Cain is the direct descendant of the serpent, is what I'm trying to say here. That's crazy, but maybe.
it's
I
not
think,
crazy to me, man.
because right from that moment it said, your seed will battle this seed, my seed from here on out, is what he told the serpent. You don't have legs anymore, you're gonna crawl on your belly.
It seems like whatever happened there, I know people are going to hate this, but was sexual because they had the inclination to hide their sexual organs.
Yes. They
So there's got to
saw
be
their nakedness.
there's
Yeah.
correlation there with whatever happened. There's got to
Yes.
be. We know it wasn't an apple. It doesn't
No.
say apple anywhere in there, from what I could tell. It doesn't say
Exactly.
pear either, or fig. It doesn't say fruit of
Yeah.
like that kind of a fruit. But yeah, I'm with you, man. I for a while thought it went back to the Watchers of Genesis 6, and that's where the seed war sort of kicked off. But now I'm leaning towards Cain.
Yeah, it was the main fallen one started the seed war. Because I
And
mean, that's straight. That's what it was. His actual name, Ben Halal or some. I can't
yeah,
remember. Yeah,
yeah,
it's not
Hillel. Yeah,
Lucifer. Yeah,
yeah, it's Hillel ben Shahar. It's
yeah, Halal Ben Shahar.
yeah, or at least that's the one of the names mentioned in Isaiah. But yeah, I mean, even with our area of the world, Ohio River Valley, Kentucky, Tennessee, West Virginia, Virginia, like we know, we talked about this a minute ago. Like, yeah, the Giants were definitely here. There's too much indication that they were. When you go back and you look at, because that was an us versus them type of a situation where normal people, Native Americans, our height, they're us, they're our brothers.
Oh yeah,
So it's us versus these giants, and there was a big massive disconnect there. And in all the legends from California to the point of Montauk in New York, all the Native American people say that there was a war and wars and warring and strife and struggle with the giants. And it was because a lot of times they include this one little tidbit where they say that the sexual preferences of the giants were repulsive to the chiefs and the elders.
yeah.
Now, I don't know, I don't even know if I want to know what the sexual practices of the giants were. I don't.
Like,
But
holy
whatever it
crap.
was, it sounds like some Nephilim stuff to me. That was
Yeah.
just vile.
Yes.
So they were said to be cannibals, and they were said to just want to make war, and they wanted to burn and pillage, and they did not have any sort of tendencies to get along with people. It was all war and vile and nasty Nephilim stuff. That's because it's us versus them. It's because they don't have the same DNA that we do.
Yeah.
That's serpent seed, is what that is
Yes.
to
That's
me.
exactly what that is. Those are the descendants of Cain right there. That's the line of Cain. That's the Nephilim line. And I believe all these gods from past, it wouldn't be a commandment, put no other gods before me if there weren't other things considered gods, lowercase g, of course. But I mean, these fallen ones had to be, perceived as that, as such. Maybe is this where we get Odin from? Is this where we get all these other ones from?
Yeah, yeah.
But
Oh man, I have to find that. I wish I could go back and like pinpoint this, but I was reading some study. There's a researcher who did the lineage of Odin, and if you go back far enough, Odin was said to really be a priest king. He was like a giant, sort of a supernatural type of a guy who really walked the earth,
man,
but he wasn't fully human.
yeah,
So a lot of those guys like Odin, if you go all the way back, you find yourself facing this story again where these entities came down and had kids with
yeah,
women, creating these hybrids. They had these hybrid sons who ruled mighty in the land, Gibberine.
yeah. And they call them what do they call them? Like they were the men that were revered at that point in
Yeah,
time.
the men
Like
of renown.
were men of renown, yes. And then you
Yeah,
think, then automatically my brain starts going back. I'm like, oh, Perseus, Achilles, all these things, all
all
these,
the all the Egyptian, a lot of the Egyptian
yeah,
pharaohs, man,
yeah,
they were same kind of a way. They were obsessed with their bloodline. Why were they obsessed
yes,
with their bloodline? Because they wanted to keep that pure, that gene pure, that the non-human gene, they wanted to keep that pure. And like,
yes.
I know, man, I'm sure if you just found this podcast and you've never heard this before, you're probably like, this guy's out of his mind. But I thought I was out of my mind too when I first started considering this as an option.
Yeah,
But it's time and time again, I just find proof of it. There was
yeah,
something that happened where somehow, some way, people who weren't fully human were walking the earth, making
yes.
war with the people who were.
And now
That's across all mythologies.
yes, yes. And now we're in a time where I feel like we're gonna start seeing things like that again. And maybe some of it will be real, but maybe most of it will be AI.
Mm,
Because if they're just releasing this AI to us, how much more advanced is the government's version? What is Palantir? What do these guys, OpenAI? What do these guys actually have? Because I mean, they're using cell phones during the Vietnam War. Like how long ago was this? Like how long have you had these things?
that
What are
goes
you
back to
talking about?
goes back to Roswell, right?
Yes, that goes back to Roswell as well, which also 1947, a certain state was established overseas. We all know.
Hmm.
Uh, yeah, same year. It didn't
I know.
exist, and then all of a sudden it does exist, right in the
I
middle of the
know,
Ottoman
man.
Empire.
That's
But
that year, 1947, man. What a threshold. We crossed the threshold. Humanity crossed the threshold, and I would suggest that we were helped along the way. And if you look at Roswell, well, first of all, just to touch on what you said about Israel, they were doing the talks in 1946 to establish Israel. And they finally did it in 1947. No, it was they were doing the talks in 47 and they finally established it in 48.
yeah,
But they were working on it in 1947. There's this story I came across about this guy who was dealing with the newly found Dead Sea Scrolls. It's like the expert who was going to look at the Dead Sea Scrolls, specifically the Book of Enoch, and decide whether or not they're legit. He's going to validate. The night that he sat down to validate specifically the Book of Enoch was one of the nights in 1947 where the UN had a meeting to talk about the creation of Israel. And it's like, um, I don't think that's a coincidence. And
yeah,
also, you have Roswell happening, you have the creation of the CIA. Air Force. It's like, hold on a minute.
Yeah.
What is that gearing us up to where we're at today, talking about Palantir? Did those things sort of have to happen to create the domino effect for where we're at? And what's her name? Did all that research on Roswell, where she was looking into Bell Labs, and she found that this technology for circuitry and a couple other things that would help us create a computer chip and cell phones mysteriously shows up in Bell Labs in 1947, right after Roswell.
Isn't that
And
crazy?
it's that crazy.
I mean, we've been, people called us crazy for cloud seeding. And now the very ones that called us crazy for cloud seeding are defending the cloud seeders, saying, oh, no, they're not hurting anything. Like, what? Like, it's 1984, dude.
Hmm.
Don't believe the experiences of your eyes and ears. And now it's getting to where you can't because you don't know what they're making up, what videos are real.
Yeah. I think that we're talking about their spiritual realm and acknowledging it as
Yeah.
such. It's like, I know some people aren't ready for that yet, but now's a good time to consider it. And I think too, with your show and with some of the work you guys have done, once you start to talk about this stuff, you start to see, you start to get these signs that it is real. Like going back to some of the stories you were telling earlier about the owls and the woman in
Yeah.
white. Did
Yeah.
you find that when you started your show and you guys started to delve into these topics that you started having more experiences?
Yes. Like that's what was crazy is like when you look into the abyss, it stares back. That's what we always talked about. Or as I like to think, it was always looking. That was,
Mm,
but we just noticed it. But yeah, when you're not thinking about things like this, and I never did, like the only podcast I listened to before I got in all these conversations with Justin when I started working with him was just creepypastas because I like, horror movies and horror tales. And I really like, I want to write my own one day. Um, but yeah, it brought me from a place of none of this crap is real to, okay, all of this crap is real.
mm.
And I can point you to what is fake, and it's none of this stuff. It's
Yeah.
it's
Yeah, man, it was really cool to see you sort of develop like a spiritual journey, you
yeah,
know.
it's
On
ongoing. It's ongoing for sure, man.
yeah.
Like I do my very best to watch my mouth. I still slip up cuss words all the time because it's just like everyday speech. I used to end the sentence with an F word, like a period, but now it's like, okay, you gotta be conscious, be conscious. And then something will happen, and then 3 words into it, I'm like, oh man.
Hmm.
That's
I'll tell you,
oh
man, I mean I used to curse like a sailor too. I really did. I tried to clean it up too. I think you and I have been on very similar spiritual journeys, man. That's what it seems like. God started working on me, really working on me about a year before I started this show. And I know that because of hindsight. And I'll look back and I'm like, oh, that was God working on me. That's what got me here. Because even the first night I ever did a podcast was on Halloween of 2023. And it wasn't because it was Halloween that we started it. It was just we were ready to go. It just so
yeah.
happened that we were ready to go. So we did it on Halloween. We're like, okay, it'll be cool. Well, it was later that night that I realized, oh, I've been completely sober off alcohol for a year today because I
Yeah.
quit drinking on Halloween of 2022.
Nice.
And I was like, oh, I think I see something's happening here.
Like, huh. Like, when did
Yeah.
that happen?
Yeah.
That's
How did that happen?
see, a long time ago, when I was in church, in and out, in and out. That's been my life. Well, I was weed eating, doing some landscaping for my aunt and my uncle, and they've got this huge hill. It's incredibly steep and it's very tall. It's a lot of weed eating in one day, but I was determined I was going to knock it out that day. So I start at the end of their driveway. I get this whole entire hill done all the way down through there. And it kind of curves around their property. And I'm just in the last bit of it, maybe 20 more feet in distance. But as far as up and down, you got like 30, 40 feet up and down. When I'm sitting there and I was just minding my own, and then it was just like I got this prophetic word. I remember being so excited too, telling my wife, telling my aunt and them. But it was like, you see what that hillside used to look like, Ryan, and that used to be your life, just full of weeds and nothing that you needed. And look how clean it is behind you right now. I can wipe your past away. Look out in front of you. You got a choice to make. There's still some rough times. There's still weeds. There's still things you got to take care of. But then, 30 minutes later, I'm done with that. That's cleaned up too. And it was just kind of one of those moments where it's like, oh, wow, I can't believe. Well, my phone's light. It's just now showing me 6th Century podcast at 6 p.m. Like, bro, it's 7:40.
It's a little late.
What's going on?
But yeah, it's a nice example of how where some dedication and hard work and a plan. You got to plan out the way you walk through your yard when you're weed eating.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it could be a deep metaphor there. I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
That's it. The important thing people need to realize that you always hear, why does this happen? Why do these people exist? Well, the way I see it, the way it's kind of been revealed to me is we've got an infinite amount of choices laid out in front of us. Now, God knows the outcome of every one of those choices, but in order for us to have free will, He doesn't know what choice we're going to make until we make it. So that's what I'm talking about when, like, yeah, okay, these things are bad, but we've always been taught we're born into sin. This world is a sinful place. This isn't heaven. This isn't Eden. That God may be with us, but the evil is real here. Sin is real here, and the devil's roaming to and fro, devouring those whom he can. You know what I mean? But it's up to us to make that. At some point, we have to take accountability and be like, I got to make the right decisions. And then that will line up. When you line your heart up with God, and that's when things are going to fall into place. That's when, and I'm not saying it's going to be easy. You're probably going to get more spiritual attacks than you've ever had in your life, if you've even ever had any. You know what I mean? But good.
You'll know what they are at this
Yeah,
point.
good.
Because your old you probably didn't realize that you were being attacked spiritually, so you couldn't deal with it properly. When you're walking and you're actively seeking a walk with the Lord, He'll tell you, this sucks, but you're under a spiritual attack.
Yeah.
Here's the tools. The tools are in the Word, and the tools are prayer and other things.
Yeah, so like I was talking about at work, it can get busy, right? And right about the time I decide, all right, I'm finally going to do this. I'm starting up this podcast. I'm going to I'm going to get the LLC through a company, set it up, Goose Squatch Media. My favorite cryptid, the Goose Squatch. But so we're going, I'm going to do this legit. And then all of a sudden at work, it's hey, you got 8 fans you've got to build in 4 weeks. The customer wants them in 4 weeks. I told him we could do it. Like, oh, that's great. So luckily we do have a lot of these fans built and in stock, which means we got to build them all to replace them. So I'm going to be incredibly busy within the shop. So the next 4 weeks is going to be crazy. But you know what I say? I say good. That's just showing me, hey, devil don't want me doing this, right? He's trying to keep me from it, but
yeah, that's saying goodbye to those idle hands. That's all that is. It's like we got work to do. Got work to do.
Exactly. That's and I've got plans on studio and everything.
Man, I'm so excited to hear that. I'm so excited. I want to highlight that. Like, I really think you should bring this thing back.
Oh yeah.
For for people listening, Appalachian Intelligence has been on a hiatus,
yeah.
and hopefully soon we'll be able to say that that's exactly what it was a hiatus because you guys came back.
Yes.
Whether it's just you or you and the whole gang, I
Right
think you need
now,
to bring it back, man.
right now it's just me. My plan is to turn this into such a successful business that the money will be so good Justin and Lance can't say no. They're going to be like, holy crap, I can work from home and pastor my church, got more time with my family. That's my goal. That's my prayers. I don't know if that's the way it's going to go. God laughs at our plans,
Right.
just like he laughed at my original plans for this podcast and the other podcast. And now I'm sitting here just talking about him all the time. So he laughs at our plans, and it's funny the way he does it. But
yeah, man, I'm so stoked to hear that. And I think I mentioned this before. When I reached out to you and asked you to come on, I had no idea that you were about to bring the show back. It's crazy how that happens.
yeah, I seen that email pop up and I thought, wow, that's crazy. So, hey, I just answered that one a minute because I was getting ready to start going through all the emails, like hitting people up that it's been a while since they've emailed. And then that email came in and I was like, well, I'll just start with this one.
Man, that's crazy, bro. I kind of just got chills a little bit there because I didn't even realize that this was what it is until I started talking to you today. Like I had no idea any of this was going on, man, that you were bringing it back and like trying to bring it back with a vengeance nonetheless. Like
this is the
business time. Like
yes, this is the reboot. This is what I want to do professionally.
I love it, man.
That's my goal. I want to do this. It's to where I can get to where I'm dropping 2 and 3 episodes a week, free and Patreon level. You know what I mean? And I've got a lot of ideas for Patreon too. So after we get done recording, I like to talk to you about.
Yeah. You can talk to me about all this, man. I've got a couple things I can probably share with you. It's not anything that's going to blow your mind, but I'm also in the process of doing this as a job right now.
Yes.
So I've learned a couple things there, and I'd be happy to share those with you. And I'll just tell people right now. Speaking of shop talk and stuff and Spotify, and they sent me a message saying you need to tell your fans to subscribe to your show because of my analytics, right? Like they're like, you've got this many listeners and this many subscribers, so we know you're not telling people to subscribe. So you need to do that. So I'm doing that right now. But while I do that, I'm going to say, subscribe to my show, please, and go subscribe to Appalachian Intelligence as well, because you're not going to want to miss the kind of content that we're going to be dishing out, man.
And I'd switched. My goodness, that phone is possessed over there. I've got a home phone over in the corner, just coming on, flashing, beeping every so often. I don't know if you can hear that.
No, I can't. Got the old landline going off.
Yeah, like what is going on? But yeah, I would like to tell people. So I changed the carrier of our pod. We used to go through Buzzsprout, and I changed over to Red Circle just because, from what I can see, the advertisement payouts are way better. And that's going to be a big boost to the podcast to start off with. I know everybody doesn't like ads, but I'm going to do my own ad reads. That way, at least it's just people hearing what products. And I'm going to look into products too. I don't want to be just taking money from anybody. So I want, to do it right. But so if everybody if they do go subscribe to AI, if you've already been subscribed to AI, Appalachian Intelligence, go and re-download all those episodes. So, because that would really push on Red Circle, showing like, hey, this guy does have listeners, because I'm paying them each month now to host a podcast, but I still haven't even dropped an episode yet because I'm trying to do what I was telling you earlier. But yeah. It's God willing, this thing's gonna. I want to treat it like a business. I'm still going to have fun, but I enjoy doing it anyway.
Well, that's the cool thing about where you're at, is you got all these great shows behind you, right? You got some momentum. Even though you took a little time off, you still have the momentum of all these great shows. It's a great podcast, like for real. Like I reached out to you because I listened to the show and I really liked the show. So I'm definitely a fan. And it's like,
Yeah.
If you know about Appalachian Intelligence, then you already know that this is going to be a heater. But if you don't know, you're welcome because now
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
do.
Now you do know.
Yeah.
God bless you.
Yeah. No, great show, man. I mean, just
Thank you.
people can look forward to that, to go and just checking out how many 100 and some episodes. It's already
118.
18. Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
man. That's great. That's great.
So,
Yeah, I mean, I got to ask you though, what we didn't even touch on Bigfoot really today. I've got some crazy, crazy Bigfoot stories,
oh man.
Appalachian Bigfoot stories. Maybe we talk about that another time. But what are your thoughts on that? You said
Uh,
something about goose squatch
yeah, that's in it. Well, we were sent, I don't know if it'll blur it out or not, but we were sent this book,
the
In the
land.
Land of the Cattywampus.
All right, all right.
And that's called In the Land of the Cattywampus. I just realized I was speaking behind the book. So, but it's got every cryptid, and this is just West Virginia. And there's a goose squatch in there, and I thought it was great. I was like, oh my gosh, the king of the squatches is goose squatch for sure. Because,
Mm,
but yeah, I believe I still want Bigfoot. I think there's too many stories. I think there's too many
hmm.
eyewitnesses. Do I know what it is? I don't know. Is it interdimensional? Probably. I know that makes the Bigfoot community mad, like the serious ones. I still follow those guys, but whatever. I'm not in their community to the point where I'm like, hey, it's this and only
Right.
this. Like, open mind, bro. You gotta open up your mind. But
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm not in that community either necessarily, but I'm with you on that. I tend to think that there's something supernatural going on. And
yeah,
all the guys that I've had on this show who talked about Bigfoot, I think every single one of them had was taken into account that there was some sort of a supernatural element to it.
yeah,
So there is a growing community of those people, as you know.
yeah. I mean,
Um,
it's too hard to explain the orbs and then all of a sudden these creatures and then not just that, but just like Lance said, there's a reason we have, you know, dogmen, vampires, all these stories. It was the Watchers. They came down, they made these chimeras, they made all these crazy things, and that's where we get all this stuff from. And who's to say they didn't cross that land bridge with the short nosed bears and everything like that, like everybody else did? Across Pangea at the time, I guess you'd call it. But
Yeah. And they
yeah,
had, yeah, man, vampires, werewolves, Bigfoot, dog, Lilith. Like if you go back in the Jewish folklore, they say that she was a thing, and
yeah,
they said she was responsible. Oh, this is where it gets too crazy, man. They said that I just found this out the other day. Lilith was responsible for, according to Jewish folklore, responsible for creating a hybrid race that were called the Lilim. Like instead of the
yes.
Nephilim, the Lilim.
Yes, who was I talking to about the other day that said something about the Lilum, and I can't remember now.
And
Doggone it.
it's
I'm
like,
not even on
man,
edibles anymore. But that
it's
it's like
like,
that coven of witches on Etsy that was cursing Charlie Kirk, and they were called the Lilum,
yeah.
right? Is that what they
Oh,
were
I don't
called?
know.
No, they were called the doggone it, was it Echelon or something? The woman they brought in. They brought in like this witch of all witches apparently, and
Oh, they brought in like
she
the big top dog
she
wizard.
I think they called her Lilum, and she
Oh,
said with pay attention within the next 2 weeks. That was on September 4th
oh,
that she cursed him, and that was on September 4th. It's hard for me to believe. This is just me. I don't know how this works. I'm sure Charlie was prayed up, you know. You would have to think he would know about stuff like that and pray against those particular principalities. Like I do right now over you and me for even talking about this,
hmm,
rebuke those spirits in Jesus' name. But or
man.
anything that tries to come against us. But that's crazy, right?
Amen.
And
I mean,
I want to say her name was Lilum.
yeah, I know. I saw Lilum somewhere in the past couple of weeks too. I saw Lilum. That's interesting. And then a couple of nights ago, I was reading through the stuff and I found this Jewish folklore stuff talking about her creating this, and that would make her a progenitor, or what's often referred to as a progenitress,
Yes.
which sounds a lot like Ashtoreth, who is one of these goddess demon princesses types of a thing, like a Lilith who's in the Bible, mentioned at least 10 times in the Bible. Ashtoreth is, and
Yeah.
they said that the Hittites in their tablets say that she had 77 to 87 children, and the progenitor is what they call her, and it's like that's a direct ancestor or an originator of a lineage or a family group. There
Yep.
was a that suggests that there was like a breeding program. And by the way, she's not human. Going back to what we were talking about earlier, these
Yeah.
not having full DNA, people who are like
Exactly.
hybrids. It's what we're talking about, man. It's not just the Watchers anymore, right? We talked. I'm with you on the Cain thing, but it's not just Cain and the Watchers. I think that these Liliths and these Ashtoreths characters got involved, and they had their own race. As crazy as that sounds, man.
Yeah.
So I
No,
think that
that's
the Nephilim is like way broader than what we may have originally thought.
oh yeah. We call them Nephilim, Watchers, Fallen Ones. The Greeks, the Romans, they call them demigods. Uh, whatever you want to call them, it is what it is.
Demigods, yeah.
They're the same thing, right?
Hmm.
They're all the same thing. And Lilith, it even talks about her in the Bible.
Yeah.
She would the nest in the trees and the crows and the other things. Well, I can't
Isaiah
remember
30,
that.
Isaiah 34.
Yes.
It's
Okay.
I had to go look it up because somebody was asking me, like, are you sure it's in the Bible? I'm like, yeah, it's in mine. It's in
Yeah.
my Bible. It
It's
says
in
Lilith
mine.
with a capital L.
Yes. Oh man.
Yeah, it's
It
in
is
there.
it is nuts. It is
Yeah.
nuts.
Yeah,
That's
it's good that we're having these kind of conversations. And I catch myself sometimes saying something, I'm like, oh my gosh, I know people are gonna think I'm nuts. But I gotta say it, I gotta put it out there. Maybe people will
yeah.
have revelations like we've had where they'll start to see that there's validity to some of this stuff and that the past was way crazier and way more supernatural. It's really like our movies, man. It's our Narnia movies and Lord of the Rings and every witch movie or vampire movie you've ever seen. There's something to that. And I think there's something to that is because we have these sort of ancestral memories of a time when the world was like that. And I
Yeah.
don't think it was that far away, but yeah. That's why I mean, I love having these kind of conversations, man. I really
Me too.
do. Yeah, I appreciate you coming on. Um,
I, I
and
appreciate you having me, man.
yeah, yeah, man, great conversation. I
Yes.
mean, yeah, and like just extra great because you announced that you're coming back to podcasting, man. I love it.
Yeah, dude. I would
I love
love,
it.
I don't know if you can hear my son, my 19-year-old son playing video games and screaming at, I'm going to fist fight him one of these days.
Nah, I didn't hear it. We're good.
Gosh.
We're good,
But
man. Well,
yeah, dude, I'd love to talk with you and the Biblical Hitman one day
all right.
too. Let's,
I'll set it
those
up.
guys are good too. I watched a lot of those clips you were showing on your Instagram and I was just down the rabbit hole, just going, but
Cool,
yeah,
man. I
yeah,
think
dude.
I'm sure we can set that up, man. We'll
Yeah.
we'll talk about it afterwards, bro. Anybody you see that I've had on, if you want their email or anything like that, just let me know.
Heck yeah.
Yeah,
And thanks again for having me, dude.
of course, man. Well, just one more time, just tell them where to go, where to find
Yep.
you.
So Gmail, it's or email is Appalachian Intelligence at gmail.com. I'm doing my best to answer all the messages, everything like that. Be patient with me. It's just me. Justin did say if he gets a chance, he's going to help me like with scheduling, things like that. Um, we got our Instagram up. The Discord is still there somehow. Uh, I got on there the other day to announce it used to be a banging place, and now I went on there. I put, "Hey, I'm coming back," and there was like 4 people that are like, "Yes." So it's kind of died off. So I'm gonna try to get somebody appointed over the Discord because that's a lot to keep up with. But yeah, you
No.
guys want to email us? Check us out, AppalachianIntelligence.com. We're on or Appalachian Intelligence wherever you get your podcasts, Spotify, Apple Music. But yeah, if you could
All
just
right.
follow the show and help support me, I'm going to get this thing rolling. And I got a lot of things planned for the future. God willing, and the creek don't rise. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. Yeah, I love it, man. I'm really excited about this. I really am. I know I've said it already, but yeah. And people, I hope you will consider like subscribing to our shows. It really does help. I don't say it enough on here. In fact, I barely ever say it, but it really does help. Like, um, if you've been listening to this show for a while, just go subscribe, and while you're at it, head on over to AI and give them a subscribe too, because it's a great podcast. I mean, it's got my stamp of approval on it. Not that they need it, but it certainly does.
I really appreciate it.
Yeah, brother. So, okay, man, we'll have to do this again, and I'll wrap it up here, and we'll talk about some of that stuff here in a minute that you wanted to get into. But I want to thank everybody for listening, and you know the deal: break the mold, conquer the realm, and thanks for listening.